Well, good afternoon, People's United Bank in Wolfboro, New Hampshire. This is made for the viewing pleasure of you, Travis. Travis Carloni, how are you doing? Remember me? Clark Feely. I'm the one that we had a big discussion there in Wolfboro one day back in 2013 where I needed to clean out a bank account that contained money that had been deposited there by me with an EIN number that I got from the IRS as the trustee of the Martha E. Feely Real Estate Trust. And what was going on, as you are well aware of, because we discussed it, there was a lawsuit going on in Nevada. Now, the lawsuit in Nevada had nothing really to do with the real estate back there in New Hampshire or anything else, actually. What it had to do with was the stealing of some of my assets that my sister had stolen from New Hampshire and put it in her bank in Nevada. So I needed access to that information and her bank statement so I could prove that she was pilfering my money. So the lawsuit back here was just really to get access to bank documents. That's all it was for. And that's what I told you it was for, if you recall. And then we had this judge back here in this corrupt environment of Nevada court system where the judges are elected. So that means they have to raise campaign contributions. So what they do, of course, is they put the squeeze on all the lawyers that practice law in their courtrooms to get money from them. So to be able to do that effectively, of course, the judges want to pay all the lawyers all the money that he can possibly award to all of them, because that makes it a lot easier for him to raise money. This is a corrupt system. Very corrupt. That's not how you appoint your judges in New Hampshire, but that's how they do it here in the corrupt of the wild, wild west in Nevada. And I told you this. And then when I was having all this trouble with this judge in Nevada who had made an order that the home in New Hampshire be sold so that he could pay my losing sister's attorney fees, she lost the case out here. She lost because she was stealing money, and I proved it, and she lost. Well, at the end of the day, this judge wanted to pay all the lawyers, even the losing ones. You can't do that in this country. This is what they call the American rule. That can't be done. But you see, in a corrupt system like Nevada, these judges wear the robes, and they think they have all the authority to do whatever the hell they want. Well, I knew pretty quick that this judge was of that ilk, and I knew that I had to protect my parents' money, my parents' assets, and the things that were left to us in trust. Because this judge didn't even know what the hell a trust was. He admitted that one day in court, that he had no experience in trust matters or as a lawyer or as a judge. He didn't know what he was doing. So anyways, I went back to New Hampshire to protect him. He had appointed the losing defense attorney, my sister's attorney of all people, to sell a house back there in New Hampshire, arrange for a broker so that they could steal the money through this losing attorney who would put in a bill for $900,000. My sister stole $26,000 from me, which I proved, and her lawyer wants $900,000. Why did he want that much? Because he had had the house appraised. That's why. And that was half of what the house was appraised for. He's a thief. He's a crook. And I told you all this. I told you that. And then when I went to you, I said, I got a problem with this nutcase judge in Nevada. And how do I get this on? Give me the money out of here in cash, because I don't know what this clown's going to do. And after discussing that with you, you suggested, why don't I get a cashier's check? It's the same thing as cash. As long as I have this check, the bank has to honor it and give me the cash back. So my plan was, once all this crap's over with this idiot judge out here in Nevada, that I would find another property to buy to replace the one I had to sell, and I'll use this cashier's check to buy that house. That was my plan. Simple, right? No problem. I have a cashier's check that has cash equivalency. You signed it, by the way, Travis, in case you don't recognize your signature right there. Travis T. Coloni, okay? Remember this, Travis? I'm sure you do. Anyways, here's my son, Aaron. He's here because we have a court case tomorrow.
Hey, Mr. Travis.
And the court case, everything's coming to a head out here. The court is being slammed by recent Supreme Court decisions that have been just handed down. One was in April that stated that a court is completely without jurisdiction to affect property in any other state. So in other words, if the property is not in Nevada, Nevada simply does not have subject matter jurisdiction. And the Supreme Court even went the extra mile by saying completely without jurisdiction. Okay, that just came down. So that's Nevada Supreme Court law. Now, prior to that, there was a decision from the U.S. Supreme Court. That's the binding court of all the courts in the country. Okay, every court in every state has to follow a binding U.S. Supreme Court decision. They ruled in a case called Hansen versus Deckler that was between Florida, a probate court in Florida, trying to get assets from a trust in Delaware. They demanded that the assets, which was stock, be sent to Florida so they could probate it and I guess get their pound of flesh down there in Florida. Well, the trustee in Delaware told them to go pound sand, that it was a Delaware trust and that's where it was going to be held. And so too bad. So it went all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's first question was, where is this trust asset located? Well, it's located in Delaware. Oops, sorry, Florida doesn't have subject matter jurisdiction. So, case closed. They don't have rem jurisdiction. That's what I've been telling this judge out here in Nevada. That's what I've been telling the courts out here in Nevada. I've been telling the Department of Justice, the FBI, and everybody else. The court simply does not have jurisdiction. This was real property in the form of a home in New Hampshire held in a real estate trust, okay, an estate trust. Martha E. Feely Real Estate Trust. That's the name that this check's in, okay? Now, as a bank, you should know your crack legal department, more like cracked up legal department, on this guy, John Egan, whatever the hell he is, I don't know. But at any rate, how can you people do anything with a trust, especially listening to out-of-state lawyers? Who the hell are they? Why would you listen to out-of-state lawyers? They have no jurisdiction. And it's a trust. It's a New Hampshire trust. Hello? Anyways, Travis, we'll make a long story short here because I'm going to put you on notice. And you can call up your John Egan or your Robert Trotmans or Jack Barnes, whoever you want to talk to. We're coming now, okay? Because the court out here in Nevada has just ruled that no state can control property located in another state, period, okay? Now Nevada's ruled that way. It's always been the law of the land here in the United States since this whole country of ours was founded. There's a case back in 1811 called Livingston versus Jefferson. The same thing. That was between our third president, Jefferson, a guy named Livingston from Louisiana. Well, this guy in Louisiana had property that Jefferson was trespassing on or what have you, so he sued Jefferson in Virginia because that's where Jefferson was from. So he sued him in Virginia. The court there said, well, wait a minute, this is Louisiana property. We can't do anything in Virginia because of the local action doctrine that they ended up naming it, that any action over real property has to be initiated in the state where the real property is, okay? And that's what we have going on here. Nevada has no jurisdiction over New Hampshire property. What's wrong with your bank and your legal department is over me. Now, if you recall, in April of 2014, I went to you and I gave you three choices. Pay this check, like you should have, because it's a cashier's check. You have to return my cash that I gave you. I gave you good funds for this check. You have to pay me in good funds. That's the law. That's the way it is, okay? But you said your bosses, Trotman and Barnes or whoever, were not allowing you to pay the check. Well, not too good there, buddy. So anyways, you signed this check. You guaranteed me that this check was as good as cash. That's why I gave you cash for it. What else was I getting? What do I have here? I gave you good money for this check. It's a cashier's check. You see up there where it says cashier's check? Up here in the corner with a number there, that says cashier's check. That has cash equivalency. And I bring that up because I did end up suing the bank. But the bank has some thing going on with the U.S. District Court there in New Hampshire, and the U.S. District Court came down with a very specious, funny ruling. Okay, it didn't make any sense to me. But I didn't appeal it at the time because I was going to wait until all this matter in Nevada was over with. Now it's over with, and it's confirmed that the state of Nevada did not have jurisdiction over any of this. So you're sitting out there now with nothing, okay? You can't point to this court case in Nevada. It was never nothing to start with. And the only reason it was pointed to, because you all were looking for some kind of an excuse, because this Dan Carone, or whatever his name was, that signed this stipulation agreement between the bank and this court out here to stop payment on a cashier's check, which you can't do, did it. Well, he must have got some money or an envelope full of cash or something, because he's not even any longer at the bank. But anyways, that being neither here nor there, you accepted, this bank, People's United Bank, accepted an affidavit from a lawyer here in Nevada saying the following: that they had possession of the check when it was lost. That's BS. They never had the check. The bank knows that I've had the check from day one. You handed me that check personally. You know that I have that check. And who checked with me on it? Nobody. Nobody at the bank would even return calls, talk to me, or set up a meeting or anything. What kind of bank are you? You seem to have a proclivity for paying the wrong people, or you're paid off to do it, or you participate in schemes. Now, like a scheme now out of Vermont we just learned about, a RICO action scheme against People's United Bank and other players to the tune of $500 million. Good job, People's United Bank. You're getting yourself a great reputation. You're really doing a wonderful job. At any rate, you participated with a court out here in a scheme to steal money from a trust. Now that gets pretty wild, okay? And then you accepted a fraudulent affidavit that you knew was fraud. Because why? John Egan had sent me emails stating that the check that I have in my possession is no longer good because you paid somebody else. Are you people on drugs? What the hell kind of legal department did you have? I think you need to rename it the illegal department, because this is ridiculous. So now, anyways, your bank has been filed charges under RICO, $500 million RICO thing. The court out here contributed to a scheme, participated in a scheme to steal this bank. They lied to the bank. They submitted fraudulent affidavits and so forth, trying to pay their buddy co-schemers out here in Las Vegas hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees that nobody owed these legal fees. Okay, so this is a crime. This is a Class A felony times about 10. All right? So anyways, I'm going to come knocking on your door. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're probably going to file a RICO action for treble damages. Before, when I filed suit in U.S. District Court, I was looking to have the check paid plus interest. Now you're looking at treble damages. You're looking at a lawyer that I got lined up on a contingency basis for 1/3. That's going to be well over $1 million in legal fees. And I'm going to sue you personally. I'm going to sue Jack Barnes, John Egan, Robert Troutman, the bank, Dan Carlone, everybody involved in this. I'm suing the judge in Nevada, all the lawyers. He removed me as trustee illegally, but the bank's the first one to point out, oh, I'm not trustee anymore. BS, buddy. I've always been trustee, and I'm trustee named in the trust document, and the state of Nevada has no authority or jurisdiction to remove me. So they've lost that one, okay? So I am the trustee. I've always been the trustee, and I've been holding on to this check to protect the trust from these crook, thieving bastards out here in Nevada, and I guess, as it turns out, the thieving, crooked bank in New Hampshire with their headquarters in Connecticut. So we got several states working around here. This will be a federal action under the RICO statute. Join the club, and when you're a bank and you have a pattern of illegal activity, racketeering activity, that doesn't go too good for your reputation with your stockholders or anybody else. So we'll see where it leads, Travis. I'm putting you on notice, and you can tell whoever you want. My phone number, 503-935-3185. And I better hear from somebody, or you're going to be hearing from my lawyer. You have a nice day, Travis. You know, I've been talking to you. We got along fine, but you're working for a bunch of crooks. And I'm sorry to have to put you in the middle of this, but because you signed this check right over here, you're not in the middle of it, you're at the forefront of it. And you better tell those people you're working for, Jack Barnes and Company, that this is not the way to do business in America. Thank you. Well, you said a lot.
You had rapid fire.
That's what happens to me.